Welcome back. I'm Casey. So a while back, my son had this thing going on with this other kid where they were competing with Bluetooth, or I should say wireless speakers. And at first it was kind of like a friendly game, but this kid started getting a little bit irritated about it. Now, I don't usually care about, squabbles like that. But this kid started getting arrogant and it started becoming a thing about money. And I felt the kid was lacking a little bit of hindsight there because not everything in the world is about money. So I was sitting there thinking about it, and one day I was in my garage and I spotted a speaker. And I decided I was going to make my son the loudest speaker. Now, this wasn't going to be a Bluetooth speaker because of the fact that he just had an iPod that only took the plug-in, but I figured I'd make it good and loud, and that I did. And I also figured I would incorporate his original speaker that he was competing with. So let's get to it. So I decided to use this old 150 watt amplifier I had laying around. So I removed the circuit board out of it so that way I can trim off a lot of these extra bits, and it'll make it a lot easier to solder to. So originally it had this grounding wire which went to the case, but I unsoldered that so I could take and put my own wire in there and jump that to the battery. So to save you a lot of time of watching me wire everything up, I'm just going to go through it real quick. These two wires are going to be the positive and negative for the small speaker. These two wires are going to be the positive and negative for the 6x9 speaker. This wire used to be grounded to the case, but now it's going to be attached over here to the negative, which goes out to the battery negative. This red center wire is the remote, or REM, that used to turn it on, but now it's going to get jumpered over to the positive, and that is going to go over to the power wire out to the battery as well. These three wires are the audio input. The orange one is the common ground, and the other two is for the left and right channels, and these are going to get connected to the audio jack correspondingly. When they get wired to the audio jack, it's going to be in this fashion. However, in this example, we're looking at a male terminal, and in the project, it's going to be the female terminal we're going to be doing it to. So with all that wired up, I'm going to apply a good amount of hot glue, and then I'm just going to stick it right inside of the box. For an audio jack, I had this one that came out of a computer. You can easily buy these online as well. Now I can trim off the extra electronics I'm not going to need. So I drilled out a hole for that audio jack to slip into, and I had to ream it out a little bit side to side with the drill bit. And then after soldering the terminals on, we can hot glue that into place. Wanted to mount the small speaker on the top, so I drilled a pilot hole, and then I marked it out with the old speaker box, and I cut that out with the jigsaw. With that cut out, I can go ahead and put it in place and secure it down with screws. So in this video, you're going to notice these little blue wires go into two audio jacks. That's basically because I have one of these audio jacks on order, and I wanted to test it before it came in the mail. So now I soldered up the speaker wires, and I trimmed them off, and then I just used some heat shrink to make sure they didn't touch nothing. So to power this, I'm using some 18650 batteries. They'll not only give me the right voltage, but plenty of power, and I'm going to couple that with a diode, and the reason being is the plug on the back I'm actually going to wire in so I can use an external 12-volt power source when the batteries aren't going to be used. Now, this wasn't the best solution, but I took and I glued them right to the inside of the box, and this does mean that when they need to be charged, the speaker's going to have to be removed with the 4 screws holding it. I also decided to add in an on-off switch for the batteries so that way they wouldn't drain when he's not using it. With that, we can give it a test, and this thing is ridiculously loud. In this video, I don't have it turned up very loud because of the fact it just distorts on the camera completely. And you can see it's not turned up very loud by the lights on the speaker. As you can see, there was no sound. Apparently, after I uploaded it, decided that the music was copyright, and this project was done well over a year ago, so a little bit hard to make up for that. I can't really reproduce it because, as being my son, he decided that he was going to modify it, and it's no longer working. Trust me though, this thing was ridiculously loud. People were saying that they could hear him a block away and that he was just drowning out the room and everything else. So it was good and loud. Anyways, till next time, I'm Casey. Make something.